Jews in Los Angeles have a rich history of achievements like Hollywood, music, baseball, and even Barbie. The history of Jews in Los Angeles begins in 1850 when the city was first incorporated. At that time, there were only 8 Jewish bachelors. Karen Wilson, the guest curator, says over the years, the population grew to about 100 Jews, mainly men. And then the Newmark family moved here.
They brought with them 4 daughters.
Wilson says all 4 married prominent Jewish merchants.
So I like to say that if it wasn't for the Newmark family and bringing their daughters to Los Angeles, there really wouldn't be a Jewish community here today.
Thanks to the railroad and the discovery of oil, Los Angeles started to boom. By 1900, there were around 100,000 Jews in the city.
In the early 20th century, as Los Angeles experiences mass migration, especially from Midwest, Protestant Midwesterners coming in large numbers, in some ways Jews who had been relatively included in social and economic networks and integrated into the sort of higher echelons of Los Angeles society find themselves excluded.
Stephen Aaron says that's when Jews began to form their own organizations and clubs. Others hid their Jewish roots, including many of the Jewish founding fathers of Hollywood.
Which becomes then, of course, the signature industry of Los Angeles. But in some ways it's born out of the exclusion of Jews as opposed to the inclusion.
The Polish-Jewish immigrant Max Factor created a cosmetics line for film, and others forged ahead in the music industry by starting their own successful record labels.
I hope we provoke people to ask questions about how the past shapes the present and might inform the future.
Los Angeles wasn't all glitz and glamour during the 20th century.
There just was a growing population of Jewish people here who had tuberculosis.
There was no cure, so a group of Jews raised money to build these shelters where patients could rest.
There started to be different kinds of treatment, so then they built, clinics, and they built research buildings, and they built a synagogue out there, and it just grew and grew and grew.
Today, it's a world-renowned cancer treatment center. In the 1950s, Barbie came along. The CEO of Mattel was a Polish-Jewish woman who had the dolls manufactured in Los Angeles.
Ruth Handler had this idea that girls should be encouraged to be anything they wanted, and Barbie could be a role model for that. So Barbie's been a fashion model, but she's also been an astronaut and kind of all kinds of things in between.
The exhibition shows Jews as champions of sport, bringing Dodgers baseball and some great players to the pitch, and champions of civil rights, both racial and sexual.
In 1972, Beth Chaim Hadashim was founded as the world's first gay and lesbian synagogue.
The exhibit will remain open through January of next year, and organizers are hoping that this exhibit will give Jews a chance to look at their history and think about what they want for their futures. I'm Lindsay Mastis for JN1 in Los Angeles.